being a YouTuber is make 100 videos and improve something every time. Do that. And then on your 101st video, we'll start talking like maybe you can get some views. But, you know, your first 100 are going to suck. There are very freak cases like Liza Koshy or Emma Chamberlain who have really good personalities and it doesn't take them as many videos. And it's just like people who are 7'5" and making the NBA. Like, yes, there are freak cases you can find, but for the average person like us, you know, who don't have these exceptional personalities and, you know, backgrounds in filmmaking, just make 100 videos, improve something each time, and then talk to me on your 101st video.
Well, the improve something each time is the tricky one. How do you improve something each time?
The second one, just, I don't know, put more effort into the script. The third one, try to learn a new editing trick. The fourth one, try to figure out a way that you can have better inflections in your voice. The fifth one, try to, you know, study a new thumbnail tip and implement it. The sixth one, try to figure out a new title. There's infinite ways. That's the beauty of content creation online. There's literally infinite ways, from the coloring to the frame rate to the editing to the filming to the production to the jokes to the pacing to every little thing can be improved, and they can never not be improved. There's literally no such thing as a perfect video.
Don't really worry about what your niche is. Like, people get hung up on this, like, I don't know what to make videos about. It would be like a writer saying, I don't know what to write about, therefore I'm not going to write. Or like an artist saying, I don't know what my masterpiece is going to be, therefore I'm not going to hold a paintbrush. It's totally okay for your niche to emerge over time. Yes, you can take a very calculating route and plot it out in advance and be like, okay, this is my path. Or you can do what I recommend, which is just start making videos on YouTube about whatever you enjoy, whatever you want. If I was starting on YouTube, I wouldn't really worry about the niche thing. I just think, you know what, let me make videos about the things that I enjoy, maybe some close-up magic because I'm not a total loser, maybe like iPhones, maybe like, you know, my favorite pen, maybe like, you know, tips of getting started on YouTube, maybe life as a medical student, maybe like whatever experiences in my life that I enjoy talking about and that I think I could teach on the internet. That is the stuff I would start making videos about. And over time, as you start making videos about things that you enjoy, the audience starts to resonate with some of those things. And so your niche ends up emerging over time. I never thought I would be a productivity YouTuber, but I seem to have become a productivity YouTuber because that niche just sort of emerged over time. It was not forward planned in advance. And so if you've got a lot of interest, if you've got a lot of things you're interested in, or even if you don't know what to talk about on YouTube, just start making stuff and you will figure it out. Don't be one of those writers who says, I don't know what my bestseller book is going to be about, therefore I'm not going to write a single word. It's the same with YouTube. Who cares if you don't know what your niche is? Your niche will change over time. I started off making videos for medical school applicants. I now no longer care about medical school applicants in terms of making videos, and therefore it just sort of changes over time. So don't worry about it. Don't overthink it. Just make the videos that you enjoy at the start.
Strongest call to action is to watch another video, because now all of a sudden your channel went from, like, say 8 minutes of watch time to 16 minutes of watch time if they watch another one, and it shows that this person is in your little watch web. It also gives you another ad impression. Like, that is the metric that YouTube cares about. Sure, you can ask them to comment, you can ask them to like, that's totally fine, but watching another video exposes them to more of your content and shows YouTube, I am a channel that keeps people on this platform for 16 minutes rather than just 8 minutes.
Yep, that's incredibly well said. And for everyone listening, 2 call to actions, it sounds like. One in the first third, then maybe the like. You don't want to ask somebody to watch another video and leave your current one.
Yes.
And the outro, just to clarify, is watch another.
Correct, yes.
As opposed to decision fatigue of like, watch, comment, subscribe.
Yeah, people don't do any of those. It's a meaningless call to action.
Paddy Galloway is talking about the ideas of your video, and then he's also talking about the titles. When it comes to ideas, and this is something we do, I just don't think we've talked about it enough.
No, for sure.
He said to think of 100 ideas, bring it down to the top 10, and then choose one. He goes, I can't believe when people think of one video idea and they just go and make it. Keep in mind, he's working with like Mr. Beast. He's working with people who require a like killer video idea. The point is, ideas matter so much. On YouTube, start with volume and then work your way in to the best ones.
You know, transitioning from a video idea to actually landing on a title. When Paddy was talking about titles, it's just crazy how just the reframing of the right title will cause so much interest. And his word was curiosity.
He gave a really cool example. He was working with a client, and the first variation of the title was inside a $1.7 million New York loft. They didn't really love it, and there was nothing really interesting about it except the money value, but there's probably more expensive ones or whatever, right? So then they changed it to, I found the best loft in New York, and they liked it better. They thought it improved. And then they added one more thing to it, which was, I found the best loft in NYC, ... but nobody wants it. And they were like, that's the title, to open up this curiosity loop. If it's the best loft in New York City, why does nobody want it? How can you breed curiosity into that because naturally you want to click on something that sparks curiosity. You want to know the answer, and so you want to click on that video.
On that note of like deciding what videos to make, how much are you how much does it play on your mind of I know if I make this sort of video it'll get this many views, versus more like I feel like making this video because I feel like it? And sort of that, to me, that's always felt like a bit of a spectrum of like doing things because I feel like it versus doing things because I know they'll perform well. How do you think about sort of videos along that spectrum?
Yeah, so I think this is super lucky that the videos that I know will do well are the most interesting to me also, because they're about probably a piece of tech that is so cool that I want to check it out anyway, right? So on one half, it's like, what videos will do well? It's the hottest gadgets, the most impressive new things that people haven't seen before, collaborations with really cool, interesting people. Those I know before we make them are like, oh, those are going to do pretty well. And then on the other half is, what do I want to do? And sometimes it's, well, I want to check out this gadget. This seems pretty cool. Well, I kind of want to talk to this person. They seem really interesting to talk to. And suddenly, like, they're like meshing together, and it's kind of the same pool of things. So often, again, it's like I don't have that much pressure to like. I'm not into this video, but I'm going to do it anyway because I know it'll get a lot of views. That doesn't happen too often for me, because if I know it's going to get a lot of views, why is that going to get a lot of views? Because it's a really interesting piece of tech. Oh, okay, so I'm in.
And has that always been your attitude, or was that a thing that changed over time?
I think that's something I've figured out over time. I know that there are videos that I make that aren't going to blow up like the ones that are the most popular gadgets, but I still want to share them because I still think they're cool. And I think if I can make the video in a way that actually shows why I'm so interested in it, then it will eventually be interesting to people and will catch on. So I think that's something I sort of learned probably in the second half of making videos, which is that we can sort of justify pretty much any video we want to make.
Hey, I'd like to take a moment to talk about the sponsor of this video, Podcastle. Whether you want to do a solo podcast or have all of your friends on, Podcastle allows you to have up to 10 remote guests at a time. One of the coolest parts about this is that each person is going to be recorded locally on separate tracks. And it's really easy for bringing guests on because they don't even need a Podcastle account. You just need to send them their link and then they can come onto your show. Podcastle even has a mobile app, which makes it really easy for recording and exporting your content on the go. They truly make it as simple as possible to produce your podcast. Thank you so much, Podcastle, for sponsoring this video.
Is there ever a point where it's like, there's too much content, I can't watch it all?
I think so. And that's why sometimes, creating even more content is not necessarily a bad thing, because somebody might skip a day. And if they watch your video today and they didn't watch yesterday, they'll be like, oh,
I might go back.
She had one yesterday, so let me go back and watch that. I mean, I think it's really just about like focusing on what your audience is. Sometimes you might not know what your audience is, but just listen to them. I mean, I'm very quickly able to tell if somebody likes a video or they don't like a video in the comments. And I think the most painful comments is the ones where people are like, man, I usually really like your videos, but this one wasn't my favorite. I'm like, oh, shoot. Burn.
Will you ever delete videos?
No, I mean, I've definitely set some to private, mostly because it was just like announcement videos.
Sure, yeah. So
it's like,
you don't want it up there afterwards.
Yeah, it's like, hey,
the meetup's over.
Yeah, come meet me here. Well, that was like a week ago. So
Right, okay.
Even small YouTube channels can lead to big opportunities. One of the things that people make a mistake of is they're too focused on vanity metrics. And so we think, and we have mistakenly defined success on YouTube as you got to get a silver play button, you got to get a gold play button. It's about getting as many views as possible. And I believe that's a flawed definition of success. Views or subscribers are not the only metrics for success. One of the underappreciated benefits of starting a YouTube channel is the connections and communities that you build with your audience. YouTube allows you to build a loyal and engaged following, which can lead to opportunities for monetization, other forms of income, collaborations, and even career opportunities. So the mistake people are making is they're like, is it too late to start a YouTube channel? It's like, well, what do you even mean? Like, is it too late to start a viral YouTube channel? Well, why do you even need to go viral? What if you have a different business model? What if you get a promotion at your job? What if it leads to that next connection or that next partner? What if it leads to your future spouse? Like, there's a lot of opportunities that could come from starting a YouTube channel. And so, I just want to present you the data that possibly defining it just by subscribers or vanity metrics is a limited, if not completely flawed, definition of success. And speaking of starting a new channel, or if your channel is small, if you haven't heard, we actually are doing a 5-day free YouTube challenge. And so if you go to tube1kchallenge.com for the new year, if you're interested in saying, Sean, I do see the opportunity on YouTube, I would like to learn some of the best tips and strategies, you can go to tube1k, the letter K, challenge.com right now.
If you want to jumpstart your views right now, and maybe you're not getting the momentum or the growth that you want, is jump on trends within your niche. Can you talk about how that completely changed everything to you, and what your thoughts are when it comes to people jumping on trends, and what are your tips?
Yeah, I think, doesn't he call it trend hacking?
Yeah, for sure.
That's everything right now. That's what Mr. Beast, and from the biggest to the smallest, that is one of the best ways to garner views and the audience and following the subscribers and sections. So for me, it's kind of funny. I know if I have a gadget, a tech product that is maybe about to be released, if I get maybe a pre-release review unit, then it's almost like for certain, okay, well, people are going to be searching about it and talking about it right on that release date, and so that video will do well. Now, of course, you don't always get that product early. That's very hard, especially when you're first starting out. So maybe if that product just releases, then I can maybe go buy it and then quick in a couple of days turn around a video. That will often do well. Another thing is seeing that wave or that trend, the virality of something before it hits. I was on that wave right before it started to take off, and that's why I think I made it just a well condensed little review video on hoverboards, and then YouTube really liked it. And it's like, okay, this is the authority on hoverboards, and so when all these millions of people are searching for hoverboards and how to buy one and stuff like that, I was the one that they promoted. And so there's a lot of, it's easier said than done, but trying to stay ahead of the curve on what that next trend is going to be, and then riding that wave. And then you got to remember that that wave will finish, it'll crash down, and then you got to paddle back out and then find the next one. Nothing survives forever. So I see a lot of people, even myself, hoverboards, they were hot for a little while and then they faded away. And it's like, okay, if I only did hoverboard reviews, my channel would be dead, but I had to pivot. And I like all things tech anyway, so that was kind of a natural fit. But yeah, always looking for that next wave is really key.
So what's the secret to creating a good short?
A lot of B-rolls. Everything that I state, I have a B-roll. And then the doctor came in with this interesting device, and I show the device. So every phrase has to be supported by footage that shows what's going on. And the more relevant the footage is, the better it is for the video. They have to be as relevant as possible. Because sometimes we go to Shutterstock, and we're talking about, a lot of students in the US, and then we have these faces that we've seen everywhere, like plastic acting. I don't know. You see, they're not relatable because they're actors, and the production quality is amazing. But this is not what works for shorts. Something that's raw, something that is filmed with an iPhone, maybe worse quality. This is what people are looking for in that type of content. We experimented a lot with repurposed videos from YouTube. You can just tell that this video was not made for shorts. And you're like, why should I bother if the creator didn't bother creating a short-specific video? And we noticed that once I switched to creating content specifically for short videos, that the traction has been tremendous.
There's such a tendency, especially in a world where you're able to count your views in real time, that if it doesn't work today, it's never going to work. And, I talked to Jimmy, Mr. Beast, about this a lot. And that guy spent 7 years making videos before he had one that broke 1,000 views or something extraordinary like that. And now he's doing 1 billion views a month. My brother Van, who's the most brilliant mind on all of YouTube, and Van had this initial explosion of interest because he and I worked so hard to promote his first videos, and then I explained to him, I was like, look, it's all going to go away. You're going to find your baseline, then you're going to build from there. And he's been consistently uploading for a year, making the best work he can make, and now he's really building out what is going to be a successful long-term career making videos and putting them on the internet.
Yeah,
and I
it'd be really
think that
cool to watch that.
it's extremely unsexy. It's extremely uninteresting, and no one wants to hear that it takes time. But it takes time, and I think if it's something that, especially if you're young and just getting